Hey, what's up, guys? This is Snackbox. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I just saw that Raid Shadow Legends posted a video about the Hydra updates, and I'm really curious, so let's jump right into it. Okay, so here we go.
Hey everyone, we've got a different kind of update preview for you today. We're showing off some balance changes coming to the Hydra and a few other areas of the game. Along the way, we'll explain why we're making these changes, but here's a quick overview. The current meta is way too limiting to players who don't have specific champions in their collection. We want you to experiment with different tactics and teams, switching things up each week. Let's dive in and take a closer look at what's coming. First up, we're setting the turn limit at 1,000 turns, auto-battling the Hydra.
This is a pretty good change, actually. I always felt like 1,500 turns were a little bit, a little bit too much. And, you always spend a lot of time doing those Hydra keys. Of course, only if you're like able to get to the turn limit. But yeah, like overall, I think this is a good change. Kind of limits the damage too, right? And yeah, I think this is good. Makes sense, right?
Can easily take over an hour, so we're aiming to cut down the time by at least half an hour. You'll now need to build teams that do damage faster, rather than teams built for a war of attrition. With a few adjustments, you'll have no problem reaching the damage numbers needed to get your usual rewards. Moving on, we're changing how the Serpent's Will buff works. Most importantly, and brace yourselves folks, it now reduces damage by 100% for a newly grown Hydra head. Yep, you read that right. Complete damage reduction.
Okay.
You won't be able to nuke a newly grown head straight out of the gate anymore. Hold on though, there's good news too. If two heads regrow at the same time, only one of them will get the Serpent's Will buff. Champions have gotten...
Alright, wait, so... I mean, I think that's okay. It's a massive buff for the Hydra, honestly. And I think, like a lot of these end game comps that I use in Hydra are like instantly popping those heads, like they do so much damage that the heads don't even get a turn. And I think it's reasonable. Like we probably have to test it, but I think it makes sense too, right? Like just gives a little bit more difficulty to the Hydra in general, and I think that's a good thing.
Stronger since the Hydra initially reared its heads. What with Awakening, Empowerment, and mythical champions joining the fray. We were seeing Hydra heads nuked as soon as they rejoined the battle, even with the 75% damage reduction. So, to make the fight even, and bring back some of the challenge that's been lost due to the game's evolution, the Hydra is getting a little stronger too. We're also making changes to digestion and devouring. You know how late on in the battle your champions start getting digested on a 2-turn countdown? Well, for every subsequent time they get digested after that first 2-turn countdown, the damage you'll need to do to free your champion increases.
Okay. Yeah, I guess it's cool too. I don't think this is gonna change a lot. Like, of course, it's gonna make it way harder to free the champion after 3-4 times or whatever, but I think that's good. Because, like, if you think about it, when you reach that point where it's only like a 2-turn cool countdown, like, it doesn't really matter because you're gonna free the champ anyway, unless something really, really, really goes wrong. So I think this is a good change too. And yeah, it makes sense because, like the digesting was always kind of a challenge until it wasn't anymore. And I think that will add more to it. So I think that's good.
Like with Serpent's Will, digestion and devouring lost much of its intended challenge over time as more powerful champions and features were introduced. It was always meant to be one of the Hydra's key mechanics and an ever-present threat. But it became really easy to rescue allies that were being digested. So, we're bringing that fear back into digestion. Taunts won't help anymore either. The Hydra has shed its thin skin, and petty insults will no longer distract it from a delicious champion meal sat right in front of it.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, so that's interesting. That's gonna change a lot, especially for like people that were cheesing this. I would say, yeah, cheesing this strategy with taunt, because you could just do this forever, right? But now you can't, so that's pretty interesting. But I mean, it makes sense. It kind of makes sense. But at the same time, like you you take a lot of value from taunting, right? So taunting is like the taunt buffs. Like, what's the purpose of it now? Like, hmm. I mean, you can use taunt champions for a mischief tank or whatever. But other than that, I don't think it's worth it to bring in a taunt champ anymore, honestly. In Hydra, at least. That's interesting. I mean, it makes sense, right? Like, completely shut down the digesting uh, mechanic. So, yeah, I think it's reasonable to like kind of makes sense. But at the same time, what is the, what is the purpose of taunt now in Hydra?
In short, once a champion receives the mark of the Hydra debuff, they become public enemy number one. And Taunt isn't going to do anything about it. Taunt is a cool mechanic, but new champion combinations emerged that could totally negate the mark of the Hydra. Less cool. It's not all bad news, though. Your team's AI will now prioritize attacking the head that is digesting when you're running in auto battle mode. Teamwork makes the dream work. Exposed necks are also...
Wait, okay, so... Wait, let me hear this again.
Dream work. Exposed necks are also... Makes the dream work. Attacking the head that is digesting when you're running in auto battle mode. Teamwork makes...
Okay, so... I don't know, like... I feel like this is something that should be implemented from the first day they introduced Hydra, right? Because it is not a secret that everybody wants to run those kind of bosses and everything on auto. Like, that's the goal, right? You don't have to manually do it. You want to run it on auto, right? So I feel like that should, like, I can't give them flowers for that change, even though it's good that they did it. But I can't give them the flowers because I feel like it should have been in the game from the start. You know? Yeah, that's how I feel about that one. But it's actually a good thing.
The dream work. Exposed necks are also getting a rework. From now on, exposed necks will have a set HP value that is double the original head's HP. Once that value reaches 0, the head will immediately regrow. With constantly regrowing Hydra heads, you'll need to think on your feet and have tactics in place for all potential scenarios.
Okay, that is kind of crazy. Yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. Let me think about it for a second. So there's a HP threshold now where when you reach it on the exposed neck. I don't know, man. It kind of reduces the value of like decreased speed debuffs because when it's pretty hard for some people to like kill one of these heads, and then you're trying to keep it try to keep the exposed neck as long as possible so you can maximize your damage, of course. But with this change they kind of negate the whole thing, so I don't know how to feel about that. It makes I would say kind of makes sense to nerf all those crazy comps that do like billions and billions of damage, but I don't know. I don't know. Yeah. Damn, man, they're making Hydra really hard now. I think it's good that they make it a challenge again, but it's kind of a lot.
Man, Hydra battles are about to get much tougher. But the changes don't stop there. We've got a few more lined up to help keep things balanced, starting with shields. Shields will now receive a cap of 1 million points. This cap is separate for shields placed by artifacts and shields placed by skills, though. So you could get up to 2 million points of shield. These caps are still big enough to ensure powerful builds remain viable for taking on the Demon Lord and the Hydra, but they'll not be as game-breaking as before. And lastly, we come to everyone.
Okay, so they basically nerfed the whole Yannicka Vixwell team. This is probably not even worth to mention anymore, I guess, for Hydra. Maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but like from the looks of it, they completely took it out of the, conversation just by capping those shields, I guess. Okay, let's see, Atranda. It's gonna be interesting.
Everyone's favorite dwarven warrior herself, Trunda Guilt Mallet. Don't worry, we're not nerfing her into oblivion. We're just rebalancing some of her skills to keep her damage numbers in Hydra battles more reasonable. Starting with her default skill, Golden Mallet, Trunda will now have a 50%.
Okay, 50% placing a stun, like, whatever. I don't think anybody cares about that, you want. Well, let's see. What does she do? Actually, no. Okay. After the second hit is what she... Oh, okay. So right now she hits 2 times, and after the second time she has 50% of placing a stun. And they're gonna change it to each hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun. I mean, it's better, but like totally like doesn't matter, right? For Hydra, it's whatever.
Chance to place a stun debuff on both hits. A little upgrade, but a neat one for PvP. Trunda's second skill, Cloak of Ages, will now ignore 50% of each target's defense on her second hit. However, the caveat here is that it will only ever be a normal hit.
Okay, wait a second. Attacks one enemy, then attacks all other enemies with a second hit, dealing 60% of the damage inflicted from the first hit and ignoring 50% of the target's defense. Alright. Only the second hit of the skill ignores 50% of the target's defense. The second hit is always normal. So no critical hits, no double critical multiplier, boom, nuke damage, basically. You know, that's actually a good change. Yeah, I think that's good. I mean, this will like decrease the damage she can put out on Hydra significantly. Like, not even a question, right? And that's totally fair, right? In terms of Hydra. Well, let's see.
Caveat here is that it will only ever be a normal hit. It's still big damage, but it won't be quite as astronomical as they have been before. Forge Rhythm, Trunda's third skill, now places consistent HP burn debuffs, and both hits from this skill deal 50% more damage to enemies under a stone skin shield. Another neat boost to her overall kit. And finally, her passive skill now increases Trunda's attack kit. And finally, neat boost under a stone skin shield. A 50% more damage to enemies under
What the fuck? Let me read this again. Attacks all enemies, has a 70% chance, blah blah blah, stun. We don't care about the stun. We don't want her to stun, right? We want the second hit. When she only does the second hit when she doesn't stun. So places an HP burn. I mean, okay, I guess. Alright. HP burn. Places an extra hit on enemies not on a stun debuff. Yeah. Both hits of the skill deal 50% more damage to a stone skin shield. Now that is kinda interesting. Now, the question is, does she do enough damage to break the stone skin with this buff? Is she capable of removing stone skin? If she can she deal that amount of damage on a solid champ, with 2-turn stone skin? I don't know, man.
Trunda's third skill now places
what I
consistent
see-
HP burn debuffs, and both hits from this skill deal
Or from what I
50%
saw-
more damage to enemies under.
When she hit that UDK here, he has defense up and all that. I don't know if it matters or not, but I would assume so. And it's like UDK is a solid champ, right? So I don't know. She reduced its stone skin shield by like 50%, and he's bad affinity, right? He's red, like force, but I don't know, man. I can see her probably do enough damage to damage dealers in stone skin, I guess. I can see that happening, but like from what I see, I don't think it really matters, But I guess it's whatever. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna make her absolutely crazy in the arena, unless I'm totally wrong. I think, yeah, that needs to be tested and see how she performs like against those crazy stone skin teams, like. Yeah, but from what I see, I don't think it's gonna change a lot or break the meta or whatever.
A stone skin shield, another neat boost to her overall kit. And
I mean, it's kind of cool that she places HP burns for Hydra, right?
And finally, her passive skill now increases.
Okay. So that's actually cool. Like an attack increase for each HP burn she places. That's actually cool. Yeah, that's cool. 50% more attack. That's good. It's a good change.
This trend as
But again, like you have to place those HP burns, right? So you have to build it with accuracy. And I don't think you want that. I don't know. Like, if you build it with accuracy to place those HP burns, which makes her then not viable for arena because you don't want those stuns to happen. You kind of have to decide if you want to go for like pure damage or be able to put debuffs on to get that passive working. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
attack by 5% for each stun or HP burn debuff she places on enemies. Her speed will still be increased as well, both by stun and HP burn debuffs. All in all, Trundle isn't going anywhere. We still expect her to be an excellent choice for Hydra battles and the arena. We tested a ton of early, mid, and late game champion rosters and team compositions when making these changes. Our results showed things will get better. You'll still be able to earn Hydra chests and milestone rewards in Hydra Clash. And you'll spend less time fighting the Hydra each.
See, that makes sense, right? Like, from the damage that I saw there, like, what was it? 200 million and brutal. I mean, it's still a lot, but again, Trunda, you know, you have to also look at the, like, at this Trunda, it's +4, 6-star blessing. It's still a good amount of damage she can do, but I feel like, you know, like, I don't think Trunda is the problem here. I think it was, I mean, she kind of was, but the crazy thing about this whole combo, or like this comp, was those two Yumikos, right? Like, they reset each other over and over again, and you get to use Trunda's A2 over and over again. That was kind of the main problem of this comp. Like, it's not really Trunda, but I guess they kind of solved the problem, because those Trunda teams, they made like billions and billions of damage, like amounts of damage that you couldn't reach with any other comp, right? So to scale that down makes absolute sense. Like, I totally agree with the decision, and I think it's a good change, just to like bring more balance to the overall teams. Now, I think a lot of people gonna be mad about this, but I think it's a good thing overall in the long run, you know, because not everybody has these champs, and once you get these champs, you're kind of like skyrocketing your damage in Hydra, and other people that don't have these comps can't really compete, you know. So it makes absolutely sense for me, and I think it's a good thing. It makes sense, yeah.
Our results showed things will get better. You'll still be able to earn Hydra chests and milestone rewards in Hydra Clash. And you'll spend less time fighting the Hydra each week. As always, we'll be keeping an eye on your feedback and monitoring game data to see how these changes affect Hydra battles overall. We hope this preview has been useful for you and will help you prepare for more battles against the Hydra. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more raid news.
Here's my like. Okay, so final thoughts. Excuse me. Overall, I think these are good changes, especially like in terms of bringing more challenge to Hydra, which, you know, Hydra is kind of like became a joke over the last year, I'd say. Like, everybody was pumping out these crazy amounts of damage, and yeah, I think this will, you know, like bring a little bit more, challenge, and people have to, you know, actually think about their comps and not just throw champs in and do crazy amounts of damage, because that's just like they just broke the game in a certain type of way. At the same time, it's kind of bittersweet, right? Because like so many people, like I'm thinking about the whole community, right? Those changes will affect a lot of players that don't have like a crazy roster of champions they have access to, and you know that they try to min max their champions so they can, let's say, go uh, from one difficulty to another. And those changes will make it significantly harder for them to achieve their goals, more than the players that have those, let's say, like meta champs that are performing amazingly in a Hydra. So that's kind of like what I'm worried about, like that it's more a nerf to the players that, you know, that are like free to play low spenders, than to the guys that are like at the top of the, you know, iceberg. So yeah, that's kind of like what I'm worried about. But overall, I don't think Hydra should be early game content at all. So it makes sense that it's harder to achieve the goals. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see the results, like what people think about this. And yeah, actually, let me know what you think about this in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts or feelings, and what you think is going to happen over time. Will there be, I don't know, and not more crazy comps, you know, to cheese the Hydra damage? Maybe, who knows? You know, like, who knows? We will see, I guess. But I think the Trunda nerf makes sense. The Yannicka nerf or the Wixwell nerf makes sense. And some of the other changes are also pretty good. The turn limit, I'm a fan of that. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So let me know what you think, and see you next time.